Nubook 1. From Then to Now. Part 8. What I know of what Rebazar has taught me, I have realised over the years. Those that I have given a little of the knowledge to usually ask me, what good is the knowledge that I have? Just by them asking, they are showing their lack of awareness. The knowledge is the first step to the real freedom in the other worlds that already exists. The knowledge helps one to be released from the limitations that our own considerations confine us to, and the worlds we have invented that holds our real awareness from the true reality. I know that so many people look to something they can hold in their hands with their mind and emotions, but there is so much more than the tangible elements and the considerations of ritualism that have been invented. It is the knowledge of the invisible reality that provides a position of real survival, as I have experienced by being outside the body. After a couple of days of writing, Rebazar came to me in the other worlds one night. "I can see that you have found your purpose. You'll now explore the true vista of the ultimate reality. Your writings will be way before their time. But your own education for what is to come in the future will manifest into the time period that all will be possible," he said. Rebazar Tars was talking in such a way as to have what he said go right over my head. He never came right out and said that I would be coming back into the future to do what others wouldn't or couldn't, but after a while I was getting the knowledge of what he was presenting. "The experience of the future machine that you showed me, did that have significance?" I asked him. He looked at me with his cold, dark eyes and said, "What do you see?" he said, and then he laughed. I stood there, trying to see past what was taking place, and at the same time see something within myself that was right in front of me, yet not yet obvious. I was beginning to realise that there was so much that I wasn't seeing, and that there were already plans for me that I was not understanding at this time. "Your book will be a good start for you to build your life upon, and to bring forward from within yourself the hidden reality that lies waiting to be seen and heard. As you continue to create your new position, you will continually perceive what it is that you really know. At some point, you will recognise your journey, and then you will know what you must do for you. You will benefit the most, and those who listen will also have something to start with. In this time right now, you are the youth and the newborn. This world is waiting for something real and complete, and you are the one who will show the fortunate souls that pay attention the most," he said. I always marvelled at his words and how he delivered them. I was beginning to catch on to how the true reality is, and how it wanted to be expressed, by the very fact of writing my perceptions down and then going over them. The main theme was to provide the information as to how and what I was experiencing was possible. Since the human race began, mankind has been experiencing a relationship with the true reality, but not really recognising it. So it has sent the real universal guides to assist people. It is really a simple identification process that the intellectually stimulated over-considers. Children and nature are the best examples of natural, simple, and demonstrated wisdom, and we do not have to over-consider them, but just view them and enjoy the experience of being real with all. The limitations that have been taught from generation to generation have flourished throughout the earth and established themselves in every corner of what has been termed as life here. The secrets that life is sharing are always with us, but we must decide that we will become a part of it. There are many different ways for one to unravel the mysteries that lie within, and it is our own pursuit that makes the exposure possible. Not everyone will continue on into an endless unknown because they feel safer with what others have considered for them. Most will stop at a point and decide they have discovered the true ultimate, or that they have had enough. Then they will sometimes establish an idea for themselves and others, and stay in it for the longest time, even lifetimes. All of us have free will, and we can have anything, but it is the actual not having which is the secret to real life. It is not that one has to give up anything, but simply learn to understand what they are doing with their life, and allow real guidance to become the bigger part, instead of the little part. After about a week with my parents and writing the book for most of every day, I wanted to do something fun for a change. I suggested to them that we take a day off and go to the big lake. The lake was at the head of the river that we lived near. We could enjoy the day and fish for our dinners that would last us a week. They agreed, and off we went. The cat decided to come after I told him that there would be a lot of fish. It was about a 3-hour ride that went through some forest lands and over small hilly areas. It was a great ride, in that it was so free from everything that I was used to with the army. We soon arrived at the big lake. It was a sunny day, and the water was a blue-green colour, with the beautiful reflection of the sun beaming down upon it. There were so many birds of different species all around the lake enjoying themselves. The birds that I usually saw very little of were ducks, and today the lake was loaded with them. Ducks have always fascinated me, because of the funny sound they make and how they walk, especially the little ducklings. As the ducks made their funny sound, Littlefeather remarked to me, "Let's stop here and play with the birds." "Ha ha, little kitty boy, I thought you wanted some fish," I said, as I watched him focus his whole attention on all the moves the ducks were making. Cats have their own defined focus, and it is fun to watch them, as their mannerisms are so comical. "I really do not mind a change once in a while," he said. "Then you may have to take a swim out there to meet them," I said, as he looked at me without that smiley face cats have. As the sun was softly warming us, I saw several hummingbirds fly over to a tree we were coming to. I could hear their little chatter, as it is almost the same sound I hear in my ears, sometimes as one of the many sounds of the true reality. As we approached, I could hear them giggling in their own way, as one of them said, "What is that creature you are carrying on your horse?" I immediately knew they were referring to the cat. "Oh, him! He's a strange small creature I found from somewhere in the wilderness," I said, as I giggled with them. "What is he for?" one of them asked. "I do not really know. He seems to just hang around and beg for food," I said, as I could not help but laugh out loud. "He doesn't look very friendly, Would he eat us? one asked. I'm not sure. Would you eat one of them, Cat? I asked. Of course not. I'd just like to play with the little birds, said the cat. Then the hummingbirds quickly flew off and into the sky. Well, you are meeting some new friends, I said with a smile. I do like eating new friends. I am willing to try anything, and all of them looked like the right bite size for me, he said as he yawned. I laughed again, and then we soon stopped to set up our campsite. It is so nice to see this place again, I thought. What a great difference just living is without the adamant pursuit of something. As I looked around, I always marvelled at nature and how it produced an endless supply of whatever was needed. The water on the lake was so smooth and glass-like. I knew the earth was just one place there is life, and I loved every moment with it. Here things really are simple. Once you let the course of the natural flow do what it does best. I like to take the time to watch what is taking place with the animals and how simple their lives are. Grandfather used to tell our family stories about the life that exists on the other planets as well. At the time, I never really paid attention about people living somewhere else. His unseen journeys took him to a lot of places. He said that he had met some other planetary inhabitants at times, but their worlds were very different from ours. From what he told us, I did like the Earth best, especially being with my friends and family that knew the real meaning of life and the adventure it is. The time I had spent with the white man was interesting, rewarding and educational, and taught me what I really didn't want my life to be while I was here. Now I see that it was a good experience to learn from, and to see what else is happening on this world, but for the most part, what I wouldn't be doing and how I wouldn't live my life. The white man's main interest is grabbing all they can for their physical life only, and leaving things scattered about, as they will be returning to deal with all of it when they return in new bodies. I did meet some very good people, and I'm sure that someday they may discover the great reality for themselves. My parents are the example that I live for. They always give back to the land and others, and not only in the physical sense, but from their being that is always a light that shines. As I was dreaming all these ideas within myself, I heard a voice. "Are you ready to catch some big fish, Goldie?" said Dad, as he was getting his homemade fishing pole ready. I had to laugh, because he was so humorous when he was fishing. "Sure, Dad, I will be with you in a moment," I said, while I was tying the horses up, as my horse asked me if I had any apples. "Mum, did you bring any apples?" I said to her. "Oh yes, I did," she said with a big smile. "I knew the horses would want something fun. It's a special day for them too." I gave the horses each an apple, and they were all so happy. They told me they really like being by the lake and watching the birds. "You like the birds too?" I asked my horse. Then they told me that just standing around and being a horse was not the only thing they liked doing. I began to laugh out loud, and went and told Mum. "Oh yes, I know they told me that a long time ago," she said. "That is funny, because they never told me. Even my own horse never really told me that he liked birds," I replied. Then I went over and sat next to Dad. "Are we ready to fish?" I asked, as I put my line into the water. "Ready, son," he said. "And so tell me, what have you written so far in your new book, Goldie?" "There are so many things I have come to realise over the years. I am starting off with the experiences I had with you and Mum, and then Rebazar. I am relating the experiences, and then providing some information about what was taking place because of them. I am learning there are so many different ways to define what I have been through, and what it means to me at this time. I don't want to limit the experience by my definition of it, but at the same time I want to give some sort of explanation as to why it is also possible," I said. "It sounds very good, Goldie. You seem to have a good grasp as to how you are going about it. You will have an endless field to work from, because life will provide you with all you need. I already know that your task will not be easy, because of how people on the earth already are, but you will reach some. Your mother and I have read many books, and we still are. It is good to have knowledge of where you live, but the real knowledge of self-sufficient survival comes from the real guides. We have read books about the trials of life here, as those in the past went through, while they were presenting a few simple truths to anyone who would listen. Their lives were not easy, and many times they were eliminated, because the established orders didn't want their followers to realise their own freedoms. All forms of political and religious control eventually fail, and it is actually the right of each person to decide if they want to get with others and start a new establishment. Each of us here have decided to live the example of the real guides, working with each other and recognising and respecting each person's being. The earth is a hard place, and there are many immature souls still struggling to find the real sound and light. So they think with their minds that by creating a position for themselves to control others as slaves will set themselves apart to enjoy their so-called freedom, when in fact they are actually afraid to be equal, as all of us are. So they have condemned themselves to their own causes and effects," said Dad. "I was learning all the time. Here was my father telling me so much of his insights, and they were so great. It is wonderful talking with someone who knows more about what I know than I do." "I'm looking to take a trip to the Pacific Ocean, sir. I've always wanted to see it again and live there," I told Dad. "That sounds like it would be a great adventure and a lot of fun, son. You should do it. I can see that it would be a good place for you to write and be with the vast openness the ocean is," he said. "I'm so glad that you agree, because I have thought about it for a long time. I really miss the ocean, even though I can go to the other worlds. I want it as my whole life everywhere," I replied, feeling good about my decision and how Dad agreed. Then there was a pull on my line. I could tell it was a good-sized fish by the strength it had. "You've got something there, son. Let's see what it is," he said. I pulled the line in, and there was a huge fish. It was the biggest one that I had ever caught. "See, Goldie, life is giving you the big fish, and you can handle it," said Dad, as we both laughed. Just then Mum came over and said, "OK, boys, you've done very well," as she grabbed the big fish and took it to be cleaned. "I don't think we will have to catch any more for a week," said Dad, as we both laughed. Both of us caught more fish, but not as big as the first one. Mum cleaned the fish and started the fire. The fish smelled great. We had some vegetables Mum prepared. We soon sat around and ate, and then we just rested for a while. "What a great life this is," I said. "This is so much better than being with the civilized part of this world. I really learned a lot when I was with the white man, but this is so much better. I feel wonderful being here with the both of you. I am so glad you are my parents this life." Mum laughed and said, "Goldie, you are funny. It's great to have you as our son this time, and that you are back with us, and to hear about what you have learned. And I know what you mean, Goldie. I could have continued my life with a white man in the civilized world, and things would have turned out different. It probably would have been another wasted life. I am fortunate to have been through the wagon train disaster, and then to have met your father. The life that I have now is the best there is. It would have been easier for me to go the other way, but I prefer what I have from being with you and your father," she said as she hugged me. "The white men work hard at making so many things even harder in their lives, because they will not take the time to discover the true reality, son," said Dad as we laughed. I was really enjoying being here in the realness of nature with my best friends, my parents, and the horse and the cat. I thought of the ducks as my friends because I knew they are very friendly. Several of them did come close to us and said a few words, but I could tell they were a little nervous, especially with the cat standing on the shore glaring at them. They implied they do not see people around here at all. "Well, it's getting near dark, and it looks like another great evening. Shall we just stay for the night?" asked Dad. "Yes, can we spend the night here, Mum?" I asked. "Of course we can," she replied. "Then we will have plenty of time to gather our things in the morning." We ate and sat around for hours and talked until it was time to go to the other worlds. I learned so much from talking with my parents, and there always seems to be something new they relate to me. "I have an idea. Let's all meet at the beautiful ocean," I said. "That sounds like fun, Goldie. We can continue our love affair with life on the beach together," said Mum. All of us got ready and put our bodies to sleep. We were soon with each other at the beautiful beach in the other worlds. The brilliant sun was shining overhead from the vast blue sky and sparkling down on the ocean that filled our view. All of us began to laugh as we stood there and just enjoyed the beauty of our real awareness. I wanted to go in the water and swim with the waves. "I love this place and how real it is," I said. "I could stay here forever and be just fine. Who wants to go in the water with me?" "We will go swimming with you, son," said Mum as she hugged me. All of us jumped in the water and splashed each other. The water was crystal clear and felt alive. I could see little silvery fish swimming all around. We walked further out to where the waves were breaking and rode them with our bodies. As we were swimming, a group of dolphins appeared and jumped around, and then swam in the waves with us. They began to talk to us and make their funny sounds. In a matter of moments, several large white birds that looked like pelicans flew in and landed near us in the water. They said they had seen us here before, and they wanted to meet us. As we were in the water, Rebazar came walking up, and all of us were so happy to see him. We waved, and then got out of the water to greet him. As we walked onto the shore, he spoke to us. "This is a wonderful place for all of you," he remarked, "and I will soon show you levels that are even better and freer. All of you will have the greatest experiences that life has to offer, and there are many wonderful places that are waiting to be realized by all of you. Enjoy your time here, and I will see you soon," he said, and then he disappeared into the air. All of us hugged each other and then we strolled down the beach, laughing and talking about what the dolphins said. "We are fortunate to be able to come here any time we wish," said Dad. Then Mum said, "Look, there are 3 horses with wings over there," as she pointed down the beach. I recognised my horse, and there were 2 others with him. We walked over to the horses and realised that Reba's Artars had brought them for us. There were also some large white butterflies that were moving about the horses. I got the impression they wanted us to follow them. "Let's take a ride in the sky," I said, as we all jumped on our horses and then took off into the sky. All of us flew up over the beach and into the big blue sky, as Dad led the way with the butterflies in front. "Follow me and the butterflies, and we will go on a great journey," said Dad, as he motioned us with him. We continued to fly far upward into an area that had huge scattered white clouds here and there. They were giant puffy things that filled a large area of the sky. I had never really noticed them before, but as we got closer they began to seem so much bigger. We were soon on top of them, and all of a sudden I could see a city in the sky. There were castles in the clouds on what appeared to be solid ground, and everything was so very colourful. I had seen castles in books, but I had never seen any in real life. These castles were enormous, and they were beautiful, and so much better than the picture drawings that I had seen and read about. The sun was shining on them in such a way as to make them glow and gleam with a mystical aura. They were mainly of a light off-white colour, with lightly coloured trim around the windows and entrances that were silver and gold. All of us flew down to the huge green grassy areas that were all around them. There were many people everywhere, and they noticed us as we flew in. They came over, smiling to greet us, as we landed on the lush greenery and prepared to dismount our horses. The people living here wore light-coloured outfits that looked like short dresses. It seemed to be their style of wear. As we dismounted our horses and were greeted by some of the people there, they introduced themselves, but not in the verbal language like on earth, but a silent communication that was very soft and pleasing. The area had its own wonderful light about it, and the people here were so happy and serene. We were then escorted to one of the castles, led by several of the inhabitants. The people here were very beautiful, and radiated with a happiness that seemed to be from their living here, and being free from any conflicts like on earth. I watched them closely as they moved about with their graceful mannerisms. I like to learn from people like this, and the simple splendour they had developed.